This review is coming late. I know. I'm sorry. The Conjuring 2. We have to talk about it.
We
do.
We
have to, because the movie is just too damn good for us to not give our 2 cents. I mean, if you haven't heard already, it's a good movie.
Yeah,
I think like everybody likes it for the most part. No, it's a weird it's a delightful movie, this one. I did have a great time watching it. I think from beginning to end, the script is really tightly woven. Every scene's pretty much essential to the whole story. You really care about the characters. It's gripping. It's terrifying at times. There's some unique shots. I don't want you to say anything. I'm just trying to cover all the grounds. There's some great music, and James Wan, he did it again. He made it even better. Some great acting. Did I say that? Great producing. Sound design was excellent. you thought you had me on sound. What would you like to say?
I really like The Conjuring 2. I mean, the first Conjuring was a movie that I saw and I thought was really good, and I didn't love as much as everybody else. And I feel like I should go back and rewatch it because I was like, I remember liking it, but going to this movie, I was going kind of cold. I really enjoyed this. I mean, this one is bigger and crazier than the first movie. There's definitely a lot more, like, aggressive, supernatural shit in this movie.
I think it's a much more defined film in terms of it, like, being in the horror genre, because I've been hearing some people say how the film is, how the first Conjuring was more of just, like a film. It was more than just a horror movie. Whereas this one is still a film. It's just there's a lot more horror, which is great because that's what we want too.
Well, and the Conjuring, the first movie, felt more like a classic haunting movie, whereas this one feels, and intentionally, he said he wanted to return the quality of big studio horror, and so this is more of a big studio horror movie, like The Exorcist or Rosemary's Baby, with all the bells and whistles.
This is his most expensive horror film he's ever done.
Yeah, so I feel like the first movie has just more of a classic, restrained approach than this one. Yep, kind of. And this one, goes hog wild.
I like how they didn't copy the same kind of, beat sheet for The Conjuring 2. They did manage to raise the stakes an awful lot, especially when it came to the Warrens. I like how the first half does what the first half of The Conjuring does, which is it focuses on this specific family. And this is a different kind of family. It's not like you got the same archetypes here. They're very good family, and they seem really British.
They seemed really British and really natural together.
It's like, did they write this dialogue too?
The woman who plays the mother in this, I thought was terrific.
She was great.
She
was like on edge a lot. You could tell she really loved her kids. And
I feel like that's something James Wan's really good at in these kinds of movies too, because he's good at setting up a family that feels like a real family. Like,
so she's gonna intercut with my.
Sorry,
I had a point.
Yeah, go.
I don't remember now. I said this, and then you just went, boom, gonna interrupt. Now I forgot my point. It was gonna be the greatest point of this review. This was gonna be the part of the review where people are like, I like that part where Greg said how awesome Conjuring 2 is in this particular department. Ruined the review.
It really changes the course of criticism.
You ruined the review.
Well, alright. 1 million subscribers.
Oh, I wanted to say, she's just mean enough to her kids to the point where you're like, she's not abusive though.
Yeah, totally. I mean, you get that she's stressed and she's tired, but at the end of the day, she still really does care. Some of the best scenes in the movie for me are between the daughter who's being possessed and the mother. Like, that's the most intense part of that family relationship, and like those scenes are great.
Yeah,
those really hit.
And I like how these kids did seem relatable and real.
Yeah,
like they seemed like real people the whole time. So the girl who played Janet, Madison Wolfe, was amazing. I heard she's American.
Yeah, she is.
That's crazy.
I saw a Q&A with them.
I was like, the British actors are the best. The British actors are the best. She was very believable. You really believed her in these terrible situations. The deterioration of this girl going through this, exorcism.
The struggle of a little girl who, is being possessed by a thing and doesn't know why she's doing these weird things. Like, she's really natural at that. And there's some scenes where she just has to be straight up terrified, and you believe her, man.
Yeah, she was really 13 years old too. But what I really loved about this film was, although it was really scary, it had this theme of love in there that was great. It wasn't corny to me. It felt really inspiring in a lot of ways, especially when it dealt with the Warrens. You get a sense more of where their relationship is at now. They're a lot more popular. They're on TV shows a lot more. You get a sense of parenthood. a lot more with them too.
Yeah, you get to know their lives, and that makes the stakes bigger for them as characters.
I love these characters. I love them even more. I thought they were amazing in the first one. They were the best part of the movie to me, and now, and in this one, I'm like, I really feel like I know them more now, and I care more for the Warrens as a unit, you know, than I did prior. Like, I want these two to be together because they work perfectly together, and I'm totally on board to watch a part 3.
Oh yeah, totally. I mean, their connection and their love story is something that enhances this movie, and that is, you know, something I think James Wan has done a good job of making a really good studio style, you know, big money horror movie, because it has all the sweeping emotions. You know, it's like there is a strong love story with the Warrens, there's a strong family story, there are a lot of scares, and there's some like fantasy stuff. Like, it has a little bit of everything. You'll laugh, you'll cry, you'll gasp. It does that with like a really genuine feeling, very earnest story.
It was shot very, very well. Like, there's some crazy, unique shots.
Yeah, and he
as
really
well
takes
as
advantage
awesome
of
editing, and he breaks a lot of horror movie cliches. And a lot of times when you think something's going to be predictable, or you know, sometimes he goes to things faster in a story than you thought it might go. Like, there's a lot of good surprises. Like, he'll take you down paths where you're like, oh, I know where this is going. Nope, it doesn't go that way. You know?
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, he's really good at crafting scares and about making you care for the characters, which are two things you need. And I mean, especially ghosts and demons, you're going to have a lot of jump scares and stuff like that. And the jumps in this movie are creative and creepy in context and stuff like that. And he's got a really good sinister tone around it all. So.
It's not filled with it. And I think the jump scares often feature unique shots, too.
Oh, yeah,
that's,
totally.
That's the cool thing of why it's not like, oh, a jump scare. Because it's not like typical, like, okay, when the camera pans over here, there's going to be this. There was this one part in the trailer that did scare me that seemed like it was just doing that with her in the mirror. But
the pan back and forth.
Yeah, but there's a shot after that very moment that they cut away from in the trailer. Like, the very next shot is a really cool shot.
Yeah.
That made it even scarier.
Yeah. Well, but even that, like, even taking the time to make a jump scare in camera with, you know, whip pans and stuff, that makes it feel more real, and it's more scary, because, you know, a lot of jump scares are just hidden in editing. You know, we just cut to something really quick, you know.
Exactly.
Make a loud noise.
Make a loud noise.
You know, and of course you're going to get people to jump, but this one, you know, he does a lot of stuff in camera, or as much in camera as possible. It makes everything feel so much creepier, you know. There's some little details that depart into, like, the fantastical realm, especially with one, you know, kind of spooky character, which I really loved about this, but might seem a little out of place, I guess. But it was one of my favorite parts of the movie.
I loved it.
The Crooked Man.
And I really feel like the concept of how you have to fight the demons with love is...
Yeah, well, I mean, it is that sort of, like, older school. It's like, you know, the purity of your soul, you know, the light. You need to use your light, you know, to cast out the dark force.
Yeah,
you know.
But it doesn't go into, like, cheesy, corny territory.
Yeah.
It doesn't go into Anne Hathaway and Interstellar talking about love.
It's dealing with the story at hand, and everybody on the screen is, you know, a person and capable.
Well, I'm going to give it a consensus because I don't believe in ratings. And I'm hoping, like, you know, this makes it easier to feature my name on trailers and stuff. Whatever. The Conjuring 2, it takes horror in a direction that satisfies moviegoers.
It's a perfect quote. I think The Conjuring 2 is a great return of studio horror and a really well-made haunted house movie. You know?
New channel, subscribe to Real Rejects, John Jerry's, and the social manager of people at Bloomhouse Facebook. Follow us on networks, and you have a good night. Take care now.